Hey everyone, I'm uploading this video on August 24th, 2016. You know what that means. Actually, you probably don't, since it's a day everyone forgets about. The 10-year anniversary of when Pluto was no longer considered a planet. Yes, the momentous day when everything we knew about the solar system was changed forever. Or not. People forget Pluto is not a planet anymore since Pluto knowledge generally does not come up in everyday life. It's still a dwarf planet, so there's that. Why don't we show Pluto some appreciation for accepting its demotion with grace for a full decade? Since I'm not a scientist, let's go with the way Pluto has been immortalized in a way I can analyze. Names. If the galaxy today ends with just Uranus and Neptune, then fictional characters are the best way for the former planet to live on. The only credential is the character's name has to come from the word Pluto. I guess they'll be ranked on how well they represent Pluto. As long as the planet inspired their name, they're good. If their name is ambiguously inspired, I'll consider them if there's no concrete evidence their name was inspired by a different Pluto. So sorry Greek god Hades and everyone inspired by his name, also known as Pluto. You inspired the planet's name, so you are ineligible. So here's my Pluto is no longer a planet day celebration. The top 10 characters named after Pluto, the former planet. Number 10. Pluto from Black Butler. Pluto is a demon hound capable of breathing fire, and he has a human form. There's no clear origin of his name, however breathing fire is not a trait I'd find very analogous to the former planet, since Pluto was the coldest planet before its demotion. Overall, not a great representation. Though since he's a demon hound, he could relate more to the Greek Pluto. On the other hand, since he's basically a dog named Pluto, he could be referencing a certain other cartoon dog that's name was likely based off the planet. I can't identify that dog now since I don't want to spoil the list. Maybe. So Black Butler's Pluto counts for this list, but the ambiguity behind the origin of his name and fire not symbolizing the former planet well explains why he's a low entry on this list. Number 9. Mr. Pluto from Ground Control to Psychoelectric Girl. Here's an anime I've never seen and only know for the reference, but I love unexpected cameos by video game characters and other media. The anime is about an alien girl from space studying Earth as a high school student. This series enjoys the occasional reference to the Mother or Earthbound series, including a cameo appearance by a pet named Mr. Pluto, being a clear reference to that game's character, Mr. Saturn. He does about as much as Mr. Saturn does in Smash Bros, as opposed to his legitimate role in Earthbound, as Mr. Pluto just sits there to be cute. The name origin is pretty clear here. They swapped out Saturn for a different planet. The name is nothing special, but I appreciate the reference and that they thought of Pluto before any other planet when giving this little marshmallow a parody name. Number 8. John M. Briselli Pluto the 8th from Vampire Hunter D. As with Pluto from Black Butler, the origins of this Pluto's name are ambiguous, with this Pluto sharing no major attributes or symbolism with Pluto from the Milky Way or the other Pluto. Pluto the 8th is a biker with his big powers being possession of people, making weapons out of thin air, and turning into basically a ghost to go through objects. His powers really seem to stem around his ability to sneak up on and possess people, so 0 points for not relating to the planet Pluto, but additional points for sort of reminding me of Lobo from DC Comics, who is a space bounty hunter that rides his motorcycle across many galaxies. Don't worry, the rest of the choices will be more relevant. Number 7. The Element Plutonium. This element is named after the former planet, due to the element's massive size and following the pattern of naming newly discovered elements after planets in the early 1900s, like uranium and neptunium. Hold on, that's not a character. Number 7, Plutonium Man, the DC Comics character. Created by Dr. Magnus as part of the robot superhero team the Metal Men, he rebelled against the Metal Men due to an issue in his programming. I'm assuming he's composed of plutonium, unless Dr. Magnus just thought that name sounded cool. His liquid metal body allows him to shapeshift. And that's about it. He has an intended to be evil counterpart just named Plutonium. His power is being a living atomic bomb, and that's it. So both characters are lacking in the variety department, however they represent the element based off the planet well, so there's some imaginary ranking points. Number 6. Charon from Pokemon Platinum. Wait, is it pronounced Charon or Charon? I'll go with the first one. He is a commander as a part of the main villainous team in the 4th gen, Team Galactic. Charon just appeared in Platinum though. Of course, the better question is, why is he on this list? His name isn't Pluto. Well, actually, in Japanese, it's Pluto. I'm not sure why they changed it when translated, but Charon still makes sense. It's the name of one of the moons that rotates around Pluto, so his name got downgraded, just like Pluto in the solar system. Pluto makes a bit more sense since the other major commanders in Team Galactic are named after planets to fit with the space theme. His addition seems to be necessary for the post-game mission, where he replaces the original leader of Team Galactic. In the post-game event at Stark Mountain, Charon leads Mars and Jupiter to find Heatran, which is really just a segue for the main player to catch Heatran and have it relate to the game's story. Following this, Mars and Jupiter quit the team, since Charon made the team boring. Bad way to represent Pluto, making the other figurative planets leave the figurative galaxy. Number 5. Pluto Nash from the box office flop, The Adventures of Pluto Nash. Pluto Nash is a bar owner in the year 2087. On the moon, since apparently we're only around 60 years away from living on the moon. Basically, take sci-fi cliches, including giving your main character a space-themed name, even though many of the people in this movie dress like non-future people, and you have this movie. Unfortunately for Pluto Nash, he's not very interesting, both the character and the whole movie. The movie is simply mediocre. It has some future sci-fi stuff that looks nice, but overall, Eddie Murphy brings his usual charisma and suaveness to this character that falls flat with the movie's direction and writing. He's just a standard guy who's a successful business owner that's good with the ladies, but in space, so he has that unique attribute going for him. Number 4. Pluto from the Game Boy version of Mega Man 5. This version of the game introduced a group of robots called the Star Droids, all of which were named after planets with the exception of Terra, who still represents Earth. While each Star Droid was clearly named after a planet, many have attributes that relate to the Greek god their planet was named after, but not Pluto. Why? Is it because Hades can't be a cat? His main ability is the Break Dash. This allows him to, well, dash at a high speed while avoiding damage. And if you haven't already guessed his other form of attack, it's his claws. He does cat things, that's about it. When you look into his bio, you'll see he loves getting manicures and hates the cold. Both are understandable because, once again, claws, and if you were modeled after the coldest planet, you'd probably get sick of anything chilly having to deal with highly sub-zero temperatures all the time, assuming he retains specific qualities of the planet he's based, just forget I tried bringing logic into that bio. Number 3. Pluto from Mar. Who remembers Mar? It was a shonen anime I remember from Toonami during its declining years, pre-revival, that ran alongside Prince of Tennis. At one point in the series, there was a group of antagonists known as the Zonin. Pluto was a member of this group, with other members such as Mars, Venus, Jupiter, you get the idea. Pluto had an interesting power where she uses magic lipstick to transform into another character, and when she takes damage in that form, the person she transformed into takes all the damage. It's a good variation to the transformation abilities that generally just give the user their target's power, or just simply use it for trickery. Despite my praise, she was defeated in one episode after her source of power was destroyed when teamed up with Uranus and Neptune. But she did do all the head-to-head fighting of the group, so she did show how Pluto can do all the heavy lifting of the back 3 planets. Number 2. Sailor Pluto from Sailor Moon. Sailor Pluto is the character that has the worst fate, luck, whatever you want to call it, of any character in all of Sailor Moon. Before I get into that, the name. Quite obviously, she is named after the former planet, as all the main non-moon Sailor Guardians are named after planets. Pluto has the important yet likely boring job of guarding the space-time door for all of eternity. No one else is there, it's just a large, empty room. Does she even get to take breaks or eat? How does she stay entertained? There are no subways, bathrooms, or Wi-Fi, so just stand there for the rest of eternity, I guess. She was given this job as a child. Yup, she looks thrilled that she no longer gets to play outside. She was even called by the Queen as the solitary sailor guardian no one would ever know about. So it's not even that she's antisocial, but her job just doesn't allow her to have friends, or even have people know she exists. Even worse, her only friend, who's a little girl named Chibiusa, doesn't listen to her when she's all, "Chibiusa, don't take my stuff or bring any people back to the door." That's all you need to do to not take advantage of our character-driven friendship. So do you know what Chibiusa does? Steals Pluto's key to travel back to today's time period, and brings literally everyone important back with her. Yeah, she was trying to save the world, so it was okay, but I love hyperbole. Fast forward to the end of the season when Pluto finally gets a chance to leave this boring room with her oversized key to save her friend. And of all the heroes in this arc of the anime and manga, she's the only one to... I guess I won't be spoiling Season 2 today. Well, in Season 3 she fares a bit better, and shows off some of her more awesome powers. Not to mention she has a much better role in the big battle when she... Oh, come on, it's pretty epic. Well, she has this calmness when declaring her attacks. She doesn't feel the need to yell it like every other character. Instead of, "Jupiter, Coconut, Cyclone," it's more like, "Dead, Scream." Pretty cool for a character whose Pluto planet power experienced a scientific downgrade, even though I think planet magic overrules science in this universe. Number 1 is supposedly the first recorded character whose name took influence from Pluto right after it was discovered. It's Mickey Mouse's dog, Disney's Pluto. Sure, Sailor Pluto has existed for all of time, or so it seems, but have you seen what Pluto the dog has to go through? He experiences just as much hard luck as Sailor Pluto, and somehow survives it. Have you seen him get the paper? It's never a simple task. Like the paper gets stuck in gum, putting Pluto in this wacky scenario of inconveniences, only to have everything turn out fine in the end. And Mickey assumes it was a mundane trip to and from the driveway. I'll give Mickey credit that he's a good pet owner, but do you never notice when Pluto is in danger? How does all of this conveniently happen behind his back? Anyway, Pluto was created in 1930, and Pluto the planet was discovered in 1930. So is it possible the dog came before the planet's name? Well, almost. Pluto was created in the Disney short The Chain Gang, which came out 4 months after Pluto the planet was named after the Greek god. In the next cartoon with the dog, The Picnic, he was named Rover. But the third time's the charm, since in his next appearance in 1931, Pluto was the official name of the dog. One of Disney's animators, Ben Sharpstein, said Disney changed the name since Rover was too generic, but he could not remember why they chose Pluto. No official sources confirm the name was chosen because of the planet, but looking at the proximity and time of the name change and Pluto's discovery, it seems pretty likely. I like the story, and I'm going to consider that theory accurate, or at least plausible. He may not be able to save the world, but he may have been the first character in history named after the former planet, so he's my number 1 for this list. So what did you think? Are there any characters named after the former planet that I forgot about? Let me know. Remember, if they were evidently named after Hades' alternate name Pluto, I excluded them from this list. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.